You hear me?
Say that again. I don't know if it's through my ears. I can hear me.
You can't hear me? Sure, I can hear me. You must be able to hear me.
Oh yeah, maybe I can. I don't know. Yeah. God, that's too loud.
What about that?
Yeah, it's like you're in the room.
Hello and welcome to episode 78 of I'm Fine, a chat between myself, Damo, and my good mate Mark. A man so fast for his age is actually making himself younger. I realised that this week. That's what's happening. You run so fast, you're getting younger.
Because I go back in time.
It's obvious. I was watching a whole thing of Brian Cox talking about time.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you can go fast enough, you will slow the aging process. That has to be what it is. Can't be any of the body butter, any of the vitamin D.
Just sprinting sprinting in a field.
Really fast.
Do you think I go back for the amount of time I'm sprinting? Like I go back like 16 seconds or 20 seconds every time. Yeah. And then it's just like money in the bank.
Yeah, you're probably like, maybe
59?
half an hour. No, half an hour younger. I haven't worked that out, but it has to be. Also, maybe running so fast that the grip, because you've got good shoes on, the grip when you're running, you're probably pulling the earth or slowing it down depending which way you're facing.
Yeah.
You're either speeding the earth up or slowing it down. So we could all be aging, or
it depends which way. I guess if you're standing in front of me or behind me.
Exactly, yeah. We could all be aging quicker or slower depending on which way you're pulling the earth around with your feet.
It's funny you should say that. I was going to do an Insta story today that was going to go, why the fuck aren't you sprinting?
To yourself?
No, to the masses.
What, to the 3 people that are following you?
Yeah.
Is this on your new account, Mark?
No. I think that might have been closed down.
Already?
No, it hasn't.
That would be impressive.
I wish it had been.
Are we to advertise your new
Not
Instagram?
At the moment. I want to put a bit of content on there. I've taken 2 things. I put 2 things on and deleted them instantly because they were so contentious.
Right. That was the whole point of...
Yeah, but I don't want to be so contentious that I'm going to just lose everybody instantly.
Well, I'm going to just sign off. That's what I want. I want the unadulterated, X-rated...
I predicted
opinions.
The football match correctly, although there wasn't a penalty.
You got the score right, but the reasons were wrong.
No.
Yes.
How many shots on target did Czech Republic have in 90 minutes? How many shots on... Bearing in mind I said that the Czech Republic wanted to lose that match.
I think they had 1, 2. One, was it?
Yeah.
The one that went straight at Pickford. I think it just blasted straight at him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you look at the goal... Sterling is about 5'4".
What's his height got to do with anything, Mark? Honestly, we've talked about this before.
Because no defender even tried to clear that ball. They basically let him have the goal.
Oh, here we go. You reckon?
You look at it, they actually just stand there and watch it.
Let
him have it. And then they've got them.
No, I'm struggling with that.
1 shot on target.
Okay.
And that was in about the 20th minute. So for 70 minutes, a side struggling who really wanted to get a draw didn't have 1 shot on target.
Right, okay, maybe they just were rubbish.
They tried so hard, didn't they?
Did
you see the shot that went over the bar by about 20 metres?
That was purposely done as well, was it?
Yes.
Oh, goodness me. This is a chat around the subjects of health, wealth, well-being, fitness, sport, and hard-hitting...
Sport. Corrupt.
And hard-hitting exposés, which we'll come to. We're all work in progress, and this podcast is no exception. In short, it's a poke at our perfectly imperfect lives. There's a bit of participation for you in a minute.
Okay.
And if we can make just one person feel like they're not alone in all this...
Madness.
Very good.
Well, that wasn't really preempted.
I literally just gave you warning. Then our work here is done. Please subscribe to us in your podcast app of choice and join us on Instagram if you have it, because not everybody does.
No.
Not everybody, is a sheep like me and you. You can find us at I'm Finecast. Coming up in this episode, we've got warm up and stretches, which is what we do to ease into the pod, isn't it, for those new listeners?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure we have got any new listeners. We're barely keeping hold of the old ones.
I think some of them have gone back to work. They listen, but it's like drawn out.
I was going to say we've just been a hit because of furlough. Come on. The furlougher's pod of choice. The furloughy. What would you be if you're a furlougher? Furlougher?
Follower.
If you've been on furlough, what are you?
Lucky.
A furlough. Or, Yeah, or not, depending on, we've just been talking about this, haven't we? Off air. I don't know how I feel about it, or Mark. In Work-Life Ballet, Mark's investigative piece on BlackRock. I'm bigging this up because we just had a chat and you said it's not that at all, but
No, that's the
I'm going to build
catalyst for it. Yeah.
That's the idea behind it. Okay.
The 14 pages that I've got on my computer.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but I said, have you got your expose ready? And you went, I left my computer at home.
Yeah, but I've done it.
But I've got it but I've done it.
I've got
it's
14
like saying I've done
pages.
my homework, miss, but I just haven't brought it in to Mark. You know what I mean? You've got what?
Did 14 pages.
And you didn't bring it?
Nah.
Absolute muppetry. And we might do brain food. We don't know. That's how edgy we are. Also, we've had 2 cups of coffee, haven't we? We don't normally do that before we start.
No.
Dusty Ape Coffee. Big shout out to Dusty Ape. DustyApe.com. Get your coffee there. They're not paying for this. I just thought I'd do it.
They might now.
Because they're friends.
That was good.
Yeah.
Slick.
I don't think they listen to us anymore. But
I don't.
What?
In terms of someone who's into sales and marketing, going, the numbers are really slow. They don't listen to us anymore. You're not exactly
saying
the
I'm
big
not
sell.
selling this.
No, things are looking good. I've looked.
I was going to ask you, one of my thing was the weather is killing the stats. That was I thought it's nice out. It's a bit like e-commerce. When it's nice out, your sales go flat. When it's raining, everyone gets on the internet and buys underpants, for example. Or if the weather's bad, it gets cold, you buy coats, don't you? When it's sunny, you might go and buy some trunk, but you're out enjoying yourself, aren't you?
Rather than doing this again, your marketing is poor. You've got a choice: enjoy yourself or listen to this.
I'm an honest marketeer. I'm saying it from the heart.
You're one of the 3 Musketeers, more right? I can only ever remember D'Artagnan.
Aramis, Athos, and what theremin? No, that's an instrument, isn't it? Theremin.
Yeah, pheromone.
Yeah,
dopamine. We've listed 4. Why was it 3 Musketeers?
It wasn't 4. D'Artagnan was the. What did you say? D'Artagnan was the hanger-on, wasn't he?
Not Dogtagnan.
No,
D'Artagnan.
Yeah, no, it's Dogtagnan because
the cartoon.
Yeah, that's why.
But the 3 Musketeers used to be in Banana Split. Why did my voice go funny? Used to be in Banana Splits.
That's what happens when you're telling the truth. That's why it very rarely does it.
That hasn't happened for years. No, in Banana Splits.
Yeah.
They had the cartoon of the...
It's not a cartoon. Oh, there's a cartoon in
it.
it.
The Dickies did it, didn't they?
Who are they? Are they a band?
The Dickies did the Banana Splits. The sort of punk version.
I don't know. I'm trying to find the names of the 3 Musketeers.
I'm past caring.
I'm not. D'Artagnan, not Dogtagnan. He wasn't one of them. He was the hanger-on, right? Aramis.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like colognes, don't they? Porthos and Athos. I don't know what I've just said, but I think I might have got at least one of them right.
Smelly Greek islands.
Yeah, they are, yeah. Right, where should we get back to the... Mark, you are looking bang tidy like.
That's because I've got
what?
A new top on.
I noticed. You're smelling fresh and freshly shorn by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Your beard is the same length of
There's
your
my
hair. Yeah. You could turn you upside down, you wouldn't know the difference.
One day we should do the pod unofficially at my barber's.
Why? Are they good value?
Yeah. So there's Vincenzo, and I like Vincenzo doing my hair because he never cuts it too short, whereas today he has.
Yeah, what happened?
He goes, the usual, because he's...
Right. He goes, it's hot outside. You need to go shorter, Mark.
And so he said the usual, and I thought, I'll leave it in your capable hands. I've been coming here since 1980, so, over 30 years. So
Bloody hell, who does that these days?
It's also nowhere near my house. It's the other side of Bristol.
Right. Do you still pay 80s prices? Do you still pay like £3.88 or something?
What happens? This is what
you
happens.
do, don't you?
Yeah, this is what happens.
They've never put it up for you.
No. What happens is his nephew... I went to Nepal back in the day, and before I went to Nepal, I thought I'm going to have a haircut. And he said the usual. I said, yeah. And he got out like a razor on a zero and shaved my head.
Right.
Like literally, just like
a
number 1 all over.
And just thought you might want to blend in with the monks or something. Or was he not that?
I was dressed in orange, yeah. So I went like, you know, when they show the mirror.
Can you?
No.
It's like putting too much salt in there.
And I think
you can't take it out.
No, he could tell that wasn't. And I went, it isn't really the usual.
Yeah.
And he suddenly realised that he'd mistaken me for somebody else. So that was in about 1980, whatever. Still, when I go in...
Do you have to remind him not to cut you, right?
So when
I'm not that bloke.
When the nephew does it, he'll go, so a bit longer on top, as in like,
Some
I won't
hair
shave your
left,
head.
please. Yeah.
And Vincenzo's very good. He hasn't ever shaved my head, but today he got close. He went for it.
Okay. What's
Anyway.
the other guy? You didn't?
I don't know his name yet.
You're not, Mark, you're what you like.
But he's great because he only speaks in 3-word sentences. I can't stop
you've mentioned
laughing.
him to me before. Yeah. Example?
You go in and it'll be. He doesn't know my name either, nor does Vince.
Okay.
Vince has got heart problems.
Are you sure Vince is actually called Vince?
Yeah, because it says Vincenzo on the front.
Right, that might give it away.
So this is his nephew.
You're assuming it's his shop?
Yeah.
Okay, right, I'm just checking.
So the first thing will be, usual today, mate? And I go, yeah, lovely. Bit longer top? Yeah.
Oh, bit longer top?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it will be like, City, eh? Whatever. Because he's a City fan and he knows I'm a Rovers fan.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I go, they're as bad as us. And I'll get back into I'll soon be in
right, you don't worry about...
No, I might do 4 or 5, but as time goes on,
you start to...
it seems like
you start to play him at his own game.
But it feels just extraneous, like I'm showing off by doing 5-word sentences. And then he'll go, traffic, what's it like? And I go, it's been busy, mate.
Is you counting what's it as one?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And so this is the whole thing carries on. But, and this is why I'd like you to be there, this is no word of a lie. This is what happens at the end. Because he is so paranoid that I'm going to be cross with the cut, although he hasn't shaved my head, he'll get the mirror, and I'm going to act it, and he'll put the mirror at the back of your head like that. And this is what every bloke does is, yeah, lovely mate, nice one.
Yeah.
That's what you say.
Even if you hate it.
This is how long he holds the mirror. And I go, that's perfect, mate. That's great.
That's uncomfortable.
And it's still holding
Still
the
doing
mirror. You happy with that? Yep. Couldn't be better. That's.
Does he move it around or he just holds it in the same place?
Just holds it in the same place. And then he goes, other side, and he'll come over.
Oh my God.
And I went, lovely, that's as good, that's great.
Does he realise there's less to look at the back than there is the front?
I would say
what
30 to 40 seconds of holding the mirror.
Oh, that's too much.
And I'm just getting like hot sweats at this stage.
So just trying to, does he cut hair quickly and then just trying to drag out
a certain
time?
I just think he wants validation that he's done a good job.
Right.
But he's basically just shaved my head.
Why don't they ever show you the top of your head? That's just occurred to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What does it look like from space?
Yeah.
I just said that. They don't, do they? They don't go with like a look on top? Because some people are,
And me being
bald.
short.
You've got a good head of hair, haven't you? You're not balding at all, are you?
I think I am a little bit there.
I don't think you are.
No?
No. I was going to say, because some people might not want to look.
Well, you'll know because you can see because you're tall.
Yeah. No, but so how's this going to work if I go with you? Is that not
I just
really
think you'd
awkward?
find it hilarious.
Do you have to explain why I'm there, or is it just totally normal?
No, there's
one
a
of those
lot
places where anything goes.
It's one of those places where a lot of people come in drinking cider and go, yo, Vincey! And they go, oh, how you doing? And they go, up the city!
And then
walk out.
Okay. Wow.
It's a very special...
I don't think I want to go. Sounds right rough.
Yeah. I don't know why I go there. Doesn't make sense. They don't actually cut my hair how I want.
So what about the price?
All right. So the prices, they've recently been refurbished. So the prices have gone up.
Oh.
And so what happens is when the nephew cuts my hair, he'll go, I can't do this in Italian, but in Italian, so that I don't hear him going, how much shall I charge him?
Right.
He'll sort of do it like the footballers do.
Put his hand over his mouth.
And he go, Vincenzo, quanto esto? And Vincenzo will go, oh, 20,000 lira. And then he converts it in his head. Anyway, and he'll go over and he'll go, and he's like really apologetic because he's still worried about shaving my head. And he'll go, is 11.50 all right? And I'll give him 14 quid.
Yeah.
Or then he'll go, is 13 all right? And I'll give him 15.50. So whatever happens...
Is he not cottoned on? He should just keep going and see what your limit is.
All I do is just put a tip to round it up to a figure.
Yeah.
But I'm still consistently, my starting figure is still consistently below the rest of the public. But with the tip, I'm in the higher echelons. For something I'm very rarely happy with.
Vidal Sassoon territory, aren't you? Proper money. That's good. So you don't think that, I got here, the weather is killing our stats. I've already said that, but I preempted myself. But you don't think it is?
No.
Statistician.
Poor content.
Right, okay. I thought you were going to go, no, there is actually some trends. And if you're fighting, we're actually being shit at the moment. Is that what you're saying?
I think podcasts...
shit, we will know your view on podcasts, cliched and shit. Right?
But the BPD ones are still going really well. They're still climbing, which is really reassuring.
That is good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to up our game. Is that what we need to do?
Yeah.
Okay. You should up your game.
You're on about.
It can't be me, can it? Bringing this down. Can't possibly
You don't
be
contribute enough to have any bearing on it.
I got a bike update, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I've come to the couple of conclusions this week.
Yep.
All Deliveroo drivers drive like absolute arseholes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with it as long as they're delivering my food. That's what I've realised, you see.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not and they're just getting in the way when I'm going to work, I get quite angry about it.
Mm.
Yeah, if it was my McDonald's they're delivering, it'd be like, just do what you like, run over people. I don't
thought
mind.
you said your Madonnas. I just thought they would like delivering.
My Madonnas.
Yeah. Hope it's from the 80s, singing Holiday rather than Vogue.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Material Girl kind of.
Yeah.
After 2.5 weeks of being on my bike, I think it was 2.5 weeks, I finally decided that bikers don't actually acknowledge each other.
No, you did discuss.
I thought
this
there might have been a bit of a pattern.
Camaraderie. I think you'll find that there will be on the motorways, maybe.
You reckon? Yeah, but you're on a different carriageway.
Mm.
I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, you
over
can
the
probably
centre
see to the other
reservation.
side.
Well, you can, but I was going, ooh.
Maybe it's because I was
You're doing
dispatched
70, right?
and you'd flash it.
Maybe they're just telling you you're going the wrong way or something, one of your mates. It's amazing what people get up to whilst they're driving. You kind of start, because you can kind of see through the back of, when you stop, you kind of see the back of you can see what they're doing.
Mm.
So I like a lot of people mucking around with things in the footwell of the passenger seat, passenger side, or in the glove compartment, or just basically they're just moving in their seat, constantly moving. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Where are you at this stage? Behind the car?
Yeah, on my bike, but you can't normally see into. Well, my nose is practically up against the back window. If I brake late,
does sound more like you're being a voyeur than a motorcyclist. And when I overtake people and look in on the driver's side, and
I think I tend to look around a lot more. Amazon have been naughty, haven't they?
Yeah, my reaction, as you can imagine, was calm and collected.
Yeah,
people are still going on about. We discussed this a while ago about fucking plastic straws up turtles' noses.
Yeah. Also, do you remember we got the essential oils the other day?
Yeah.
There's me going, hey, look at the plastic top.
Yeah.
We've got nothing to worry about, have we?
No.
Them
when people are putting 55-inch big screen TVs into fucking landfill.
130,000 items.
Yeah.
Per week.
Yeah.
It's saying.
From one.
This is in Dunfermline, was it?
Yeah.
Warehouse.
Yeah. Some of it is returns and some of it is just taking up space. It's their business model, isn't it? It's a turnaround. You can't just...
Yeah. Products that were never sold or returned by a customer. Almost all could have been redistributed to charities or those in need, which was my thing when you first told me about it.
That doesn't
work. You said
work.
it devalues the price of it. I get that. Instead, they are thrown into vast bins, carried away by lorries, which were tracked by ITV, and dumped at either recycling centres or worse, in landfill.
Yeah, there has been a massive outcry. It's been, after that was shown, there's been lots of people marching down the streets. It's been on everybody's lips. Seriously.
After you first said that, I was like, I haven't heard anything like that. Then I realised your sarcasm at the end of that.
But when the plastic straws came, you were basically picketing cafes.
You practically spat on in a cafe if you were using a plastic straw, weren't you? So we all now use paper ones that don't work after 5 minutes, don't we? And end up just having to drink it out the glass like absolute savages.
Oh, well, that'll probably kill us, won't it?
Oh, yeah, of course it will. It's a statement from, I'll put up the link. I mean, I honestly, I haven't heard about it on TV.
Right.
I just haven't picked it up anywhere on the radio or anything. I'm really...
For some reason, I saw ITV News when it broke, and I don't really watch TV.
So why isn't everyone off the back of that just going apeshit?
No one cares, because Amazon's too lovely.
Yeah, I suppose so. But the Amazon statement was, we are working towards a goal of zero product disposal, and our priority is to resell, donate to charitable organisations, or recycle any unsold products. No items are sent to landfill in the UK. As a last resort, we will send items to an energy recovery.
So the lorries that they followed...
Amazon spokesperson, they won't put a name on it, would they?
No. They did put some to charity. When they showed the expose on ITV, it was like about 20,000 things have gone to charity. You can't give 130,000 things every week from one centre to charity, because it's then that'll just get sold on, and then there won't be a demand.
That looks dodgy, doesn't it? When you're in a charity shop and there's a pile of brand new Sony high def tellies, the police will be like, "Where'd you get this?" You know what I mean? Also, there's an article this week, you probably heard about this, so I don't think we discussed it. More than 5 million people became millionaires across the world in 2020. despite economic damage from COVID-19 pandemic. While many poor people became poorer, the number of millionaires increased by 5.2 million to 56.1 million globally. In 2020, more than 1% of adults worldwide were millionaires for the first time.
Welcome to our club.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm meant to be shocked.
I'm laughing, and I'm feeling all very uncomfortable by laughing. I don't know what message I've just sent out by laughing. Like a mwah. Did I? It felt like
yeah, there's loads of us now.
Woo. Recovering stock markets and soaring house prices helped boost their wealth. Wealth creation appeared to be completely detached from the economic woes of the pandemic, researchers said. Lower interest rates and government support programs had led to a huge transfer of wealth from public sector to household sector. We were just kind of talking just before we started recording, just that the general vibe isn't worry about what's around the corner or the financial precipice or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It isn't, is it? Everyone, does it feel like a massissive scrimp and save, or
it still feels to me.
It just feels quite buyant. Do you know what I mean? Like, kind of the outlook's quite.
The way the mainstream media are doing it is definitely along those lines. But going back to your Amazon thing, I honestly believe we've got to the point, everything is so disposable that nearly everything, COVID aside, has a 24-hour shelf life. Yeah. And I'll tell you why I thought this. I went into Asda today and there was a book there. And I was looking at that book, and I had bought that book probably about 2 years ago. And I was thinking, no one's buying that book now. But the information in there is as relevant as it was 2 years ago when it went to number 1 in the Sunday Times bestseller. And you could go, well, everyone who's interested has bought it. But because of the nature, because it's to do with James Smith, it was all very relevant in terms of lifestyles and eating and healthy eating and exercise. Yeah. But there was only one book there of that. And then right hidden at the end, there was Captain Tom's guide to blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And he had his moment. But I don't think anyone was going into Asda thinking, oh, I'll get the Captain Tom book.
Yeah, sure.
So what I think happens is that we now have a 24-hour window. And when that's finished, that news item is then stored and forgotten. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the follow-up from Amazon, it was released in the evening. There should be a follow-up on BBC Breakfast. Yeah. We've got a spokesman from Amazon. We've got a spokesperson from Greenpeace. Mm-hmm. We've got someone from the recycling centre going, yeah, we get a lorry every day from them. Yeah. The investigative journalism. Yeah. But it isn't. That's gone away. Yeah. So no one cares. Today, I saw a document from someone I follow on Twitter who got hold of the document, which is the arrangements for what they call P, capital P, and these are the UEFA VIPs who are coming for the final. And it was the arrangements that they have to sign up to. Minimum of 2,500 are coming. So it's a definition of who can come and what they must do in that time. And it isn't just UEFA. It isn't just the football associations of the finalists. It's every football association in the Euro, but it's also the sponsors and their affiliates. So someone is going to fly in from Coke. Yeah. If Ronaldo lets them get off the plane. And big shout out to him. He's starting to say stuff, but they've been taking it off.
Have they?
Yeah. He was saying stuff about COVID, and between him saying it and then it being shown again, they cut it out.
Right, okay.
What he basically said is, we've had enough of this. And he had his mask round his arm when he was watching the match, and they quickly panned away. So this document, which has come, has explained what the people must do. It becomes yesterday's news. There was an outcry. Boris Johnson goes, oh, I'll look into the arrangements for 2,500. And someone from UEFA has gone, if you want to have this final, make it a fucking showpiece. Yeah. Get 60,000 in Wembley. Yeah. That didn't come from, it wasn't going to be 60,000. No. It wasn't going to be 45,000 for the next round.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But as England have been in Wembley because of the bloody fixed match. So, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? It is. It's all fucking conspiracy. So the point I'm making...
No, not conspiracies, Mark.
No, that is a conspiracy.
Oh, it is it? Yeah. Right, I'm sorry, I do apologise.
There's a difference. There's realism and fact, and that's conspiracy because people have conspired. I'm using the verb to conspire.
Right, you're using it correctly. You're not just using conspiracy as an alternative viewpoint.
Yes.
You're actually referring to something that has been
arranged,
predetermined,
correct,
fiddled with,
difference between guilt and shame. I always think that's really interesting. I got that from my therapy.
Okay.
Guilt has an element of deliberate action. You can have very similar emotions, and people confuse the two.
Right.
Yes, I saw this document and it basically said, this is what you've got to do. And it's going, make sure that you travel from wherever is going to be your isolation, which is going to be a hotel.
Yeah.
And go to the match and then go back and like don't mix with people.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be in a hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless they all get room service and there's going to be security on the doors, they will go down at the Ritz and be at the cocktail bar.
Of course so.
They don't have to isolate. They don't have to quarantine, even if they're coming from a red zone.
Yeah.
And we're all going, oh, well, at least we got the final.
It's football, isn't it? It's just football.
It's coming home.
But
24 hours later, no one will care about that.
No
one cared about G7 and the fact they were bloody tonguing the Queen for half of that.
Were they?
barbecue.
I didn't see that.
Yes.
Oh, that's not kind of a
It
barbecue.
wasn't shown that was taken down.
Right. But you've definitely seen the Queen getting tongued at a barbecue.
Yes.
Can't believe that. We got it. Send it me, will you?
Yeah. It's Prince Andrew for you.
Yeah. Now this isn't. This isn't. I've got a little thing here about logos and fun little mechanics in logos.
Okay.
Not good for podcast, is it? Visual medium. But I'm going to put a link up to.
So everyone can play this game.
Yeah, it's not really a game, but I know you like making games out of absolutely nothing.
Are you
whatsoever.
actually going to test me? Is this going to be competitive?
I'll give you one as an example, as a bit of a tease.
Okay.
We talked about the FedEx one, didn't we? That has
hidden arrow.
Well, it's not hidden, but it's there for everyone to see. Baskin Robbins, there's the B and the R, but it's also a 3 and a 1 because that stands for the belief that the guest should have the opportunity to explore fun, new ice cream flavours every day of the month. Mm-hmm. Little things like that. I'm not going to go through any more. But
Häagen-Dazs is a made-up name, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's not even a thing. It's just made-up letters.
Every word's made up with letters, Mark. What are you on about? They weren't kind of divinely given to us, were they?
Do IKEA
know what I
operate in Saudi Arabia?
Why?
Well, they're getting all up themselves about GB News, aren't they? And withdrawing their...
Oh, sponsorship.
Yeah, because I saw recently a lot of big organisations are having like the rainbow colours on their logo for, is it Pride? I guess it's Pride Month, isn't
Pride,
it?
Yeah.
I don't know if I had a wider descriptor, but if you look on Twitter at, say, something like Mercedes-Benz, UK or Europe, it has the rainbow. But if you go to some of their Middle Eastern ones, it won't have it. And I was interested to know, is that because that country bans it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it probably is.
This is why I find this difficult, is that if you positively promote something that you want to, and whether it's done out of peer pressure, because I think looking at some of the adverts on TV, I think there's been a groundswell of change looking at representation to the point that I think it, to me, can sometimes appear patronising.
Yeah, it can be.
You can look at it.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. But it's sometimes, it's like if it mattered that much, why is it only happening now?
Yeah.
If you really cared about this, and we've been talking about equality and diversity for decades, how come now it's only been represented in the way it is? But the point I was saying was that if you're Mercedes and you go, well, we can't have the pride colours on our badge in Saudi Arabia because, they're really anti it, then why you could go on a moral thing. Well, what message does that give that you're prepared to sell cars to people that are persecuting gay people? Yeah. You should get out of the country.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're truly supporting women or whatever group it is that are being...
Yeah.
And it's like, the whole thing of China, like I keep saying on this pod, China having the Winter Olympics. Yeah.
Right.
Everyone's forgotten about the Muslims.
What?
Uyghur Muslims in China. Right. It's not even on the news anymore.
You're right. We had a client who, in a makeup brand, it's a US-based brand, and they were exporting to China. Yeah. And word got out that this brand was linked with animal testing. So the statement, they came out as a brand and went, we don't as a brand test on animals, but what other countries do when they receive our products is up to them. Yeah. So that probably wasn't the most tactful of responses. The customers went apeshit. It just reminded me of that. It's like, we don't condone that, but we'll happily sell our products to that country. They went, actually, we're not going to sell to that country at all. And it's just quite a big decision commercially, but I think that's quite strong because that's what people don't quite realise. That there are plenty of people doing it, or they go, no, we don't believe in that, but we're happy to let our products be associated with. Yeah. Totally commercial, but some people aren't strong enough to take a stand. The lads' trip is this weekend, Mark, that I'm not coming on. Will you miss me?
I will miss you.
Yeah. Have you found your passport? Because you're going...
I did find my passport.
Yeah, because you're going on holiday this weekend with the lads to... So, which reminded me, I thought, have you got your passport? Because you need a passport. I know you're not leaving the country, but you need a passport anyway, don't you?
I told you that Amelia lost her MacBook, didn't I?
No.
So Amelia has some sort of similarities to me in terms of not conspiracies, but like
What, similar traits?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Did you not?
You're like two peas in a pod, you.
Mm.
Honestly.
So she decided when she couldn't find it that our neighbour had stolen it.
I think you had told me.
Yeah, broken in. In fact, she decided that our neighbours.
It's the neighbour that scales the fence and has a pop at you.
No.
Oh.
This is a nice neighbour, but this neighbour has a child, probably 9, I reckon, and I think Amelia thought she put the 9-year-old through the window, a bit like Victorian,
right?
Something seen out of Oliver, who came in, nicked her MacBook,
in the middle of the night,
and the reason was that Amelia had the tracker thing on her phone, and it said it was in this house.
Right,
but they're not that accurate, and their house is next to where Amelia had it.
Yeah.
So she came to that conclusion that it must have been. Anyway, I did the sort of, where did you last have it, which is the most annoying.
Probably did. Oh, I bet they got my fucking passport as well, didn't you? Did you say that as well? Well, but yeah. I can imagine you two having a conversation. Well, I've lost them. I bet they've got that as well. While they've been in the house.
Okay,
And I've lost my favourite pair of socks. They've gone as well, but they're wearing that.
Well, I think I've got some proof that they did steal them. Anyway, so we were saying they've stolen it, and I wasn't around at the house, and Amelia said, can you come and look for it? I'd been training, and I said, I'll come in and look for it. Where did you have it last? Which is a really annoying parent thing to do. She said, I had it here. So I looked in the chair that she had, and it had slipped down the side of the chair. It was almost visible. Yeah. So I looked down the side of the chair, took the cushion out, which was good for me, gave her MacBook.
Yeah.
And we both decided that probably what the neighbour had done is realised that we were on to her.
Brought it back in a hurry and stuffed it down the back of the... Of course they did. I mean, there's no other explanation.
And that chair, well, just saying, that chair is probably 2 metres from the chimney. So...
Oh, God almighty.
For a guinea, she could have cleaned it while she was up there.
You got a gas fire, what are you on about?
So, found the MacBook. Anyway, some later stage...
Did you do the dad thing and go, just be careful with
I was time. Just like...
Well, I found it.
Yeah,
I'm
just
the
like
saviour.
I've won.
Right, okay.
Long story short, my passport was on the side of that chair.
Did you find it at the same time as that?
Nope.
Okay.
Which, again... adds more grist
not just
to the
think,
mill.
maybe everything's down here that I've lost.
No, because I still haven't found my wallet.
All that money.
There was money in my passport as well, actually.
But not the money you've lost.
No, and not the wallet. But I think this just proves, if proof be needed, that Mrs. Dodgy next door heard me talking about my passport.
So they had your passport, right? Okay.
Yeah, but didn't bring the passport back, thinking, we got away with that.
Right.
And then...
So they've heard you talking. So you need to stand outside in the driveway going... Someone's had my wallet. I cannot find my wallet. I think the thieving next door neighbours have had it.
Then the Rozzers are around.
Yeah, then you'll just go and have a look in the chair and it'll be there. Is that what you're thinking?
Yep.
Honestly.
I'll keep you updated. You can't trust anyone.
I've said this before. I'll come around and help you find your wallet.
You won't.
And the money, but it's 15%. Or whatever. What? That's only fair, isn't it, that I take a bit?
What are you going to do with 15% of a wallet? It's useless.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're looking forward to your weekend, are you, Mark? Well, I can edit this I'll tell you to take a yes from somewhere else and drop it in.
Yeah, of course.
You're looking forward to it.
Of course I am.
But you're not. Obviously, it's not going to be as good without me.
No.
But I do wish you a very pleasant weekend. And I hope you all enjoy yourself.
And I think when I'm there with my tonic water with a slice of lime, and they're on their 16th pint, I think.
Oh, just remember how it feels in the morning when you're tucking into your breakfast and they're not even round.
I'm sprinting on the beach, like a scene from Baywatch.
Yeah.
Losing another 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. So maybe you can report back next week on your adventures.
I think I will. We had mentioned a video diary or a blog, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think you should, if you can.
I think it's hotting up nicely.
Yeah. Right. Let's move on.
That was a lot of chatter, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're almost out of time.
Yeah, BlackRock's an investment company.
Was that it?
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said to you a couple of pods ago, or last pod, that it was when we were talking about Coca-Cola, and I know I have an element of cynicism, but the whole thing about Ronaldo and moving the Coke wasn't just by chance. And if it was by chance, then it was seized upon as a marketing opportunity.
Mm.
And I said to you then that BlackRock are, I think, the third highest shareholder of both Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Mm. And so as a large shareholder, it's in their interests that both Coca-Cola and Pepsi are successful. Mm-hmm. But if one becoming unsuccessful or one taking a hit means that the other picks up that.
Oh, in terms of Ronaldo moving the Coke and allegedly Coke losing $4 billion off their stock price, which I think you said was horseshit. But
well, it's because it's paper money.
It sounded like a lot.
Yeah, it did sound a lot.
But I don't know.
If it's real world, if it's like, oh, they're taking off because Ronaldo's like dissed Coke, people won't drink Coke. There is only one alternative, really, if you're in the Coca-Cola market.
Aren't Coca-Cola in the mineral water business anyway?
Yes. Yeah.
Win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drink mineral water, win. Do you know what I mean?
BlackRock own the same percentage of Pepsi as they do of Coke. So if people go, I'm not drinking Coke because of that, I'll drink Pepsi. So all BlackRock and all the investors who hold both lots of shares, if you like, it isn't an either or. It's increasing the market share of people drinking. And you're exactly right. So you've got innocent and now the smoothies of Coca-Cola, and they're up against Naked, yeah, which is Pepsi Cola,
right? Which again, you're saying are all the same company. Which are
and I think Vitamin Water is one of them, and there's another water. So really, this whole idea, there isn't any choice; it's a cartel. And I was thinking about that. I probably have maybe 2 Diet Cokes a year. Just sometimes,
just as a little treat.
Yeah. Sometimes I just go, what? I might have one this weekend.
Most people have an Advocar at Christmas. You have a little Diet Coke. What?
You've been listening into my conversation.
With who?
I had a conversation with somebody.
About Advocar?
Yeah. I had a bottle of Advocar next to my bed at home, and every night I would drink some.
Oh, right.
When I was a child.
Right, really?
No, not as an adult.
Was this after you've drunk the bath dried through the sponge?
Oh, I got a lot of love on the sponge and flannels.
We've got a Facebook post as well on that. It seemed to resonate with a few people.
Flannels as well. Not just sponges. Yeah.
Well, get this BlackRock shit out of the way. Okay. Let's talk about drinking water through sponges.
Okay. So BlackRock have, as I've gone through all the companies they invest in, and the top sort of 100, 120 that I looked at, it seems to be...
Cool, you've done your own work.
I have. Between 5 and 7% share of each company. And the first page is...
And that's their model.
That's their model. So the front page was Apple was top, I think. Amazon was third. Microsoft, Johnson & Johnson, Disney were up there at about 13 or 14. So all the companies we've talked about.
Yeah.
And you, in some ways you can go in like, this isn't actually a shock mark that an asset management company is investing in the big companies. But the point I was touching on beforehand, and this is why this is a little bit broader than BlackRock, is BlackRock are now advising Biden and Kamala Harris. A number of their directors are now involved. And there's some talk about them having a bigger role in the Treasury. And so this is why, in my view, it suddenly became bigger than me looking into a company that just happens to have trillions and trillions of dollars invested. It became this sort of vested interest. And it isn't a massive global thing. It's a very small club. It's a small club of people who this year, all those companies, I think it's something like 5 trillion has been added to the... There was a thing on Twitter, I don't know how accurate it is. It was something like 5.3 trillion had been added to all the multinational global companies. Right, and that's almost the equivalent of people at the bottom end of the social scale have lost in terms of wages and salaries and savings and everything else. But the point is there that this has been, and I know I don't have loads of investments, but I know my ISA has made more this year than any other of the last 10 years. Yeah. And this is meant to be a year where we've been devastated. Where the whole,
you expect all your money, whatever you've got, to take a bit of a hit, right?
Yeah. And it was even, until I looked at what had been earned, I was thinking, God, I should have really sold up as soon as this pandemic started. And it's not, it's the complete opposite.
I remember you telling me what you'd put on, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah. And that's just from a managed fund. That's not from being clever.
You didn't do anything. You just left it there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the point I'm making is, as I said to you beforehand, this is way bigger than BlackRock. This is a position where if you're on a gravy train, you don't want that train to stop because the model we have now, Amazon send out 1 million parcels every 2 hours. It can only go one way. It can only get bigger. We've talked about behemoths before, haven't we? And it's just it just has to get bigger and bigger. The model, like we were saying, throwing away 130,000. Someone said on Twitter, like, that's nothing. That's That's someone sneezing and throwing a hanky away. It's
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot to us. To Amazon, if you're doing 1 million parcels in 2 hours,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
130,000 in a day is nothing.
Yeah.
So I guess the point I'm making is, if everyone's been making money, and like you were saying, which I wasn't aware of, more people becoming millionaires, then something I think has to be encouraged by all these big organisations to keep it being ever thus.
Yeah.
So they don't want to go, like I said to you, like, well, we've had our 18 months of buying from Amazon. Let's go back and support local independents, and let's get the high street back up again.
Yeah.
There's no incentive for that. So if there's no incentive from government, and there's no incentive from investors, and there's no incentive from Google, and they'll then be selling us stuff about, you keep doing stuff on Amazon. And this goes back to my 24-hour. No one gave a fuck about Amazon chucking stuff away.
Yeah.
Not enough of a fuck to do anything about it. And mainstream media haven't made it into an ongoing story.
Yeah. That's right. It was broken by mainstream media. So is that there? We've just done our balance for the year. Yeah. Or is genuinely no one interested, like you said?
I don't think anyone's interested. It's not trending on. It came off Twitter. It was trending, and then it came off for a while. Yeah. And then came back on again.
Your point about it almost can't stop. You're on a bit of a treadmill now.
Yeah.
And it can't stop. I understand that. You have to keep the machine going. I guess in any business, scaling is natural. We want to get bigger. We want to make more money. We want to do more of what we're doing. And especially when you start to have shareholders.
Well, we have to.
I don't think we have to. I think it's in
you have to, because of the model that you have to maximise profits for shareholders, which is the basis of capitalism.
But not all companies have shareholders.
No.
Dyson, for example, one shareholder.
I threw my Dyson against the kitchen wall today and it smashed up.
Yeah, you're going to get a new one.
No, I would rather eat that Dyson than get a new one. Fucking waste of money. The design of that Dyson has been done by a 4-year-old with crayons. Seriously, it's ridiculous.
You saying they're running sweatshops now?
You have to wash the filter and wait 24 hours before you put back in. How on earth can you have a household appliance that for one day you cannot use? That is madness.
That was a better madness than you did at the beginning of this pod.
Yeah,
had more gusto in it. I should have wound you up before.
How come I wind up about him and you're not? Anyway, different matter.
I don't have a Dyson appliance, Mark, to moan about. So, but they don't have to create more money. They have to wash their face, have to pay for themselves, and ideally make profit. They don't have to make profit. A bunch of shareholders can go, as long as we get paid our divs, okay, you've got to make profit to get divs. I accept that. What I'm saying, it doesn't have to be more the next year. Unless the price of things go up, maybe things move up, but and your margins shrink because the cost of sale goes or whatever. You don't have to, but we do, and I think that's in all of us. And I think it's good in the sense that we want more, we want to improve, we want to get better, not just in ourselves, but we want other people to. And I think it's just, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't move on. As a society, we can't just stand still. We have to. So there's that element of,
but that's quantitative rather than qualitative. If your measure is financial gain rather than
but it's a necessity, isn't it, to generate? We've had this discussion about capitalism. It's okay. It's not a bad thing to generate wealth.
No.
And we've talked about Quakers and all sorts of things, other organisations that create profit in order to exist and have a future. So if you aim just to break even, you might fall short. If you aim to make a bit of profit, you might at least break even. There's that, which is good. To break even means you can keep doing the thing you want to do. You can keep people employed who need money to live and eat and have warmth and shelter and all those kind of things. That is all good. No one's denying that. No one's denying those people moving on with their lives, gaining more, so they can buy, they can have babies and they can have more things in their lives, go on more holidays, feel like they're progressing. No one just wants to stay on the same wage and the same standard of living all of their life. Most people don't. Most people want to improve themselves. Not always financial, but the things they may want to do, you might need more money to go and do that. Does that make sense?
It does.
I think I was offered $7,000 for my first job. I'm not going to go, I'm fine with that. I'll be on $7,000 for the rest of my life. It's not how it works. It doesn't work like that.
It does. If you're on minimum wage in America.
I'm not saying making all that money is healthy. It has its downside. We've just been talking about that. I mean, 120,000 items going into landfill for is one example. There's all sorts of reports about bad working conditions and all that.
Non-unions.
I'm saying it doesn't have to be like that.
No, I agree.
But it is.
Yeah.
for them. Not everybody's doing that. I guess my point is it's okay to move on. It's okay to generate more. It's okay to sustain. Sustainability is the important word. I use that a lot because I want to be in a job next year and the year after. I don't mind if I break even for the next 10 years. I don't. I'll try and get a bit more because I want to do more things. But if I'm breaking even, doesn't mean you're not making any more money than you did before. We can all increase our wages and still break even. So we're all making more money. We're just covering our costs, right? You were talking about shareholders. Not everybody has anyone to answer to, but also most shareholders, I'd probably argue, want more. They likely don't work in the businesses at all, and they'll likely want profit at any cost. But then you're into gradations, and we've touched on the billionaire stuff before. There is a point where you don't need it anymore, but you still do it. There's a point where you'd rather keep it than do any good with it.
Yeah.
And stockpile it and sit on it like some narcissist, right?
It's the sort of Midas thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and of course, but that is what we're battling with, isn't it? Not everybody's like that. It's like saying all landlords are arseholes, because there's a few out there who are ripping their tenants a new one. You know what I mean? There's always someone who will take it to the nth degree. I think entrepreneurship is great. I think there's lots of good things coming out of people wanting to move on with themselves, with other people, whatever. I think that should be encouraged. Just because some people are out there ruining it, doesn't mean we shouldn't encourage that spirit. We've had
this discussion both since the first podcast and in other discussions.
But arguably, these people aren't putting back, arguably doing any good, back to the kind of Quakers and stuff. They were generating that to put back into the community.
Yeah, there was a social responsibility.
The break even and the bit of profit meant that they were around for the next year. Yeah. And they could do it again. And they can keep building on that. Do more good things with the community. Build infrastructure, build security, create jobs, create education, create more wealth, create better health. That is good, I would argue. When they're making profit almost for profit's sake and not doing anything with it.
And not paying tax on it.
Yeah, and doing everything they can not to put back into society. They're all saying what everybody wants to hear.
Yeah, well, it's like in Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's have a big thing where you can donate to a food bank. Yeah. And they also have a thing that was on an app or somewhere that made suggestions of the things you might like to buy in Sainsbury's to donate to food banks. Yeah. And I'm just going, you're giving me a shopping list for other people.
Just give me it.
If I'm paying £1 for this tin of peas, and you're paying 40p for it, why don't you give them 2 and I'll give you 80p? I'll give you the cost price. I think my cynicism comes from tax avoidance. The thing I saw in America, which I needed to get more accurate, but it was something like there was 8 companies who didn't pay any tax. I can't remember their names, but there was 8 companies that they pinpointed didn't pay any tax in America. But they paid $450 million in lobbying. And someone's going, you're only lobbying, so you don't pay tax.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, that's almost your indirect tax. But it's going, when you look at how much Biden and Trump's, the whole election process cost was like.
And the list of companies were companies we've all heard of.
Yeah.
And use daily.
The being played to me comes down almost to minute levels. It's like, and I know I have something against Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's just going to say. They have a little sticker that's price matched with Lidl. And I'm going, Lidl can do it and they've got less buying power than you. You're not doing us a favour. Yeah. It's a competitor. That then just becomes a cartel. Yeah. So on, down the road in Filton, there's a Sainsbury's and a Lidl, and now the prices are the same. Where does that take us as a consumer? It's just going, we're going to tell you what you're going to pay. Yeah. It's actually even less choice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like everything's the same, so it doesn't matter where you go economy. Now. Yeah. You've put your entrepreneurial spin on it, which I get.
Yeah, because you were talking about you were talking about the treadmill, and you can't. And I totally agree. You can't go back. You can't go back, but you don't necessarily have to grow at the rate that these things are growing at, and skip over the kind of the doing good. I mean, try and measure that. I can't measure that. What good is. But you know what I mean? Just trying to fix some of the problems, the clear and obvious problems that we've got. They don't have to dump all that stuff in landfill. They don't have to treat their workers so shit. So they can stop. They can afford to stop. And so we talked about that the other week. They can afford to stop and slow down and go, what are we doing? But I don't think those people that are at the top want that to happen. I think it's totally healthy to go, these enormous businesses, whatever sector they're in, are in bed with other large organisations and also in bed with world governments.
Yes.
I think it's very healthy to be cynical about that.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And wary and go, hold on, is this? Then I just have that flashback of that pod. We're just like, but what we were going to do about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we mustn't go down.
Sorry,
there.
no, go back to that. I just wanted to. Hopefully, I've got a bit out about what I said about it not stopping, and it can't stop, and you can't go back. I totally agree with that.
This isn't going back to, our depths of despair and saying the end of the world is nigh. What I'm saying is that it's in no one, and this is looking at the pandemic and it's talking about the Great Reset. It is in very few people's interests at the top of economic organisations, political organisations, or data organisations. So interesting, Matt Hancock. Like every second word is data now. And you know that YouTube video we saw where he was interviewed?
Yeah, talking about.
Did you see her T-shirt?
No.
I think it said "Data is the new power." The interviewer. Right. That was from the World Economic Forum, and like literally now, he's saying is about data. And the NHS app has now got your COVID vaccine details. The vaccine passport is now up and running.
Right.
Despite being told it's not going to happen, it's on the NHS app.
Right. I've not got it, so I don't know.
No. And they've all sworn over my dead body it'll never happen. Where do we get on that one?
Don't know.
I think it's going that at the moment, certain situations that you would have thought traditionally would have been negative and destructive for big companies are actually an opportunity. I think that's the point I was trying to make. If you've gone 18 months ago, there's going to be a pandemic that's going to do X, Y, and Z. You're going to go, shit.
So it's not quite...
sell up and buy gold.
It's not quite someone is winning, so someone must be losing.
Yeah.
Is often the case that people are winning and winning.
Yeah, small individuals are losing, but anybody of any power is actually benefiting from this whole situation.
We were talking about drinking bathwater through sponges, of all things to talk about. And Kelly, Cleaner Kelly, on Facebook, did you see this?
No.
She said, this one made me laugh out loud many times. I used to suck the flannel, didn't have a sponge, bless her, in the bath and bathe with my siblings. Also note that, because she's put a little picture of her
bathing
in the bath with a... I don't want to get this right. I'm going to put it out on a limb. I'm going to say two brothers, but I don't know. They're babies. Sometimes you can't tell. What? I'm showing you the picture. And she goes...
I don't think it's important.
Also note the tans. Not so much on the sun protection in the 70s.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That is.
Thanks for that, Kelly. It's funny. You going to say something about flannels and sponges?
No, just that my mum had a real sponge.
Like off the bottom of the sea?
Yeah, and it always like...
weren't all sponges like that once upon a time, before they worked out how to make them synthetically?
Yeah.
Right, when they rock hard until they're wet? Is that what a sponge...
Yeah. I don't think... I'm just trying to phrase this in a way that isn't just going to sound like fucking carry on in the bath. I was always reticent about sucking the dead sponge.
Sorry, back the bus up. What?
So the sponge that my mum had,
real sponge.
There was one, that she would use.
Yeah.
It just... If I was going to suck water, it would have to be out the synthetic sponge.
And not the real sponge.
Doing it out of a corpse was probably...
Oh, right, because you were aware that it was a living organism once upon a time. Okay.
Well, just found it disrespectful, I guess.
Right. You were saying to me something ago, someone else had a story about flannels and sponges.
Oh, no, I just said to you before someone else had gone, not just the sponge, the flannel as well. And I can remember the flannel, yeah.
Right. So how is your 68 going? You're kind of you're adding self-soothe to your daily activities.
Yeah, interestingly, because I have to do a daily diary card for my therapist, that she noticed
an uplift.
Yeah, I was going to say a downward trend, but downward being in terms of my numbers were coming down, which was a positive.
So that's a good thing in terms of those numbers.
Yeah, in terms of a number of aspects around self-validation, self-soothe.
And didn't you say didn't you point that out? And she went.
Yeah, well, the whole thing about the dialectic thing is that you do opposites, and then they become a thing, and you adopt them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it has been positive. I think just talking about it, and I think it's just a general awareness. And one or two bits of feedback I've got, especially has been around the smell. And I read somewhere that smell is the first of the senses that develops in the womb.
Right.
And someone was saying about the importance of it, but how it often is underrated.
Mm.
The reason I was saying this was a new top, Dean gave me some of his clothes, which I
bet they were dripping in cologne, weren't they?
Well, no, because he has them, and I've got his cologne on now. Merely bought it from it.
Okay.
But no, these have got the. I keep calling them the millions. They're not millions. The Lenore beads. They're probably just coloured microplastics, probably.
What in there? What?
In the wash, you put the beads. You've seen the beads.
No.
I'll buy you some beads.
Are they environmentally friendly?
I wouldn't have thought.
I don't want them. I don't want to Mark.
Okay.
So were they tight fitting?
On Dean? Yeah.
He's a lad, isn't he? He's a big lad.
Yeah. Some of the vests he's given, I'm not going to be putting on.
Are you gonna kind of try and fill that jumper? Right? Is that the goal? Because you normally comes in such tight fitting, attire. It's hard to see.
I come in a smock, poncho.
Yeah.
Some sweet smelling Mexican gunman.
Yeah, I think I can smell your
Versace.
Excuse me? I can't smell that. What?
Versace.
Is that what you call it?
Versace, isn't it? Yeah. I don't even know what you're laughing about.
It's all right. It's been rude. It was obviously just too base for you.
I wouldn't mind.
Anything you wanted to revisit? Or?
Yeah, I think what I'd like to revisit is just a little bit going back to some of the PT stuff, some of the physical stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Two things. One is it's almost like stage 4 in terms of accountability and motivation. That we talked about this before, and I was going, start of lockdown, you've got no excuse not to get fit. And then second lockdown, people are struggling to get fit. And then third lockdown, we're suddenly realising loads of people are putting on weight. And now things are opening up. I think I'd like to share the different approaches that I'm getting from clients. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing with one or two clients like a massive, I'm so going for this now. And others still finding it difficult to get out of the either a furlough or the lockdown situation in terms of mindset was, this is what my day is like.
Yeah.
It wasn't like this 18 months ago, but I'm finding it hard to get back to the 18 months. So I would like to do maybe something about accountability. And the thing I was saying, I guess, about me saying about sprinting, just looking at one or two things that people don't do. Puppies and young kids run fast.
Yeah.
Adults don't. Yeah. You should listen to me. It's something I think people could consider. So that was one thing. And the second thing was something I posted about the BMI. I'd like to just revisit that again. Me putting in my weight on the government being told that...
What did it tell you?
I'm overweight.
Yeah, I didn't want to say.
But it told me that... So I'm 11 stone 12. And it said the ideal weight for me is 8 stone 6 to 11 stone 5. 8 stone 6.
Doesn't sound right.
So I put in that I was 8 stone 7, and it said
help.
You're within the ideal weight range,
Great.
But you're at the lower end. It actually said 8.5 stone. It's madness, and that's the NHS. And I'd like to get a doctor and go. I'd almost like to get down to 8.5 stone. If I went in 8.5 stone and went into doctors,
and you go,
I'd be rushed into a bloody clinic.
Yeah.
But that's what the BMI.
Right. We can talk about that. Yeah. That's it for this episode. We're not getting this far, and thanks for listening to us. Give us a follow on Instagram @I'mFinecast and send your feedback and ideas to imfinecast@gmail.com. And if anyone wants to send us an email just to check it's not broken, that'd be brilliant. And please give us a review on Apple Podcasts if you can be asked. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.